Jai Hind and welcome to Dev Talks. This is Aadi. Zero COVID policy of China. Interesting policy. They've been at it for the past 2 years. And something that we need to reckon, Xi Jinping has been able to actually keep it on no matter what happens in the country. As you can see, I have with me Lieutenant General Ravi Shankar. Sir, good evening. And seems like a bigger plan than just controlling COVID. And that's something I wanted to discuss with you. And let's kind of take this discussion forward and see, sir. But before that, sir, what would you like to
Yeah,
say as an introduction?
zero COVID is a political game today in China. It started as an antiviral game, but it is now a political game. Okay. It is more than just handling COVID. That's the first thing. The second thing is you have to understand something. You and I are living with the COVID. The Chinese people are living with zero COVID. Okay. They're not living with COVID anymore. They're living with zero COVID. Just to give a background, if you remember way back within the first 3 4 months of the COVID setting in, you know, all of us were down all over the world, lockdowns, this, that, everything. China had opened up. They had declared Xi Jinping had declared victory over COVID. They had the best vaccines. They were into vaccine export system, right? They said they'll save the world from COVID. It failed. Today, we have all got over COVID. We are living with the COVID. ठीक है, COVID आ गया, नया आया, नया आया. But they are not. They've got into a system where the COVID has come back. They are facing lockdowns. They can't import vaccines. Their vaccines are useless. Their people are not vaccinated. Their own people are not don't have faith in their vaccines. If the lockdowns and mass testing, etc., doesn't happen, it's a political problem. People are going to die, and the Chinese are vulnerable to COVID. So there are a huge, bouquet of things, and there's a fallout economically, everything. So what you said is right. It's no more. It's a bigger game going on in China, and we have to understand the length and breadth of this game. You know, and we can go through it one by one, as you say. You can take the lead.
Sir, by the way, the slides are ready, so we could start with
Yeah,
that as well, sir.
yeah,
After this,
we could
but
start.
the
Let's
first
start.
question I want to ask you, and that's the premise of the discussion today. The main thing that Xi Jinping today wants to achieve is a control over Chinese society in terms of its business, economy, and everything. Is he doing that with zero COVID? Is he being able to control everything in China, like the chairman of everything in China? Now it's the chairman of the people of everything, and so on and so forth. Is
The
that
Z of
the main
everything. He's the Z of everything. Okay. Right. Yeah. What you're saying is right. Uh, Zero COVID gives him control over people. Now, once you control people, you control everything. Remember, in the 20th Party Congress, he said security is more important than economy.
economy? Hmm.
Okay. How do you achieve security? Security is not external alone. A huge part of the Chinese security is internal, and the security is not of people. It's not of China. It is the security of his rule and the Communist Party. How do you achieve that? You achieve it with zero COVID. As simple as that. I mean, they're not too this thing. So if you have to achieve security over economy, and zero COVID is a tool to achieve that security, and because that security leads to power or it guarantees power, you will ensure zero security, zero COVID at any cost.
Hmm.
Okay, because it's no more control of people gives them security. Okay, We have to understand that this zero COVID will not go anywhere. Will it hit China? It will hit China. How will it hit China? That is what we need to discuss.
It's a bigger game than just controlling a virus,
Oh
sir.
yeah,
We
yeah. I
also
mean,
have
let's
to
be
look
very
at
clear.
people, you know.
Today, whether you or I gets COVID or not is up to us. Our governments, wherever we are, has given us vaccines. They said, please go and take it. You get a vaccination certificate. You go anywhere. You wear a mask. You don't wear a mask. You do what you want. You live with it. You live with COVID. COVID has become an endemic, and you're okay. But not them. Not with them. With them,
You do here
whether
in India also.
yeah, whether you want it or not, for them it has become a measure of control, political control.
Political control.
So actually, that's why I what I did was when we were discussing this, say 10 days back about let's do a thing on COVID and all that. So I started putting together a few news clippings from South China Morning Post. Uh, you know, so people get an idea actually what is happening and how many facets of Chinese life have been touched. And this, what we're going to show now, is just a matter of about a week, just 1 week. And if I go back in time, I can write a thesis on zero COVID in China,
Yeah, how they kind
right?
of pushed it
But
down
yeah,
first. It was a,
so let's see the slides and then we can discuss on each of them.
here we go, sir.
Yeah, yo, this is the my thing which I've made. Welcome to Gunner Shot. Okay, and
Firepower,
I
sir.
must say,
Firepower.
firepower. Yeah, and we're going to discuss firepower, isn't it? Yeah,
Matter of fact, a
next
lot of
episode will
interesting,
yeah no
lot of
next
interesting
episode
questions. Mm.
yeah next episode we'll have a discussion on firepower, and a lot of people have asked me, can you we discuss firepower in Ukraine, Indian firepower and how Ukraine and all that. So we'll discuss it. We'll have that will be our next show. What firepower we have, how firepower was used in Ukraine, how we have done it in Kargil. Or we'll do that later. Okay. Anyway, so this
Matter of
is
fact, interestingly, sir, just continuing on in a little tidbit, the next day of our discussion, that Kalyani deal also came through. So that was
ah
like a
yeah. No, yeah, Indian firepower is booming like this picture. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, incidentally, let me explain this picture. This is a battery of 155 guns, 6 guns firing. The background hill features are the Devlali field firing ranges with which we've grown up, right? And each of these hill features have a special emotional connect with all of us, right? I mean, it's very, there is a lot of history, but that we'll take up later. Let's now get back to zero COVID. Okay,
China.
next slide. Yeah, China. So, this is part of my normal thing which I put peek into everyday China. Okay, so yeah, next. And we're talking of zero COVID and coronavirus in China, right? Next. Okay, so in the 20th Party Congress, we all know that Xi Jinping has doubled down on zero COVID. He said it's going to stay. There were expectations that it will be lifted, yeah, all that. So next, see, this is what it is. Zero COVID policy leaves expert at loss with no definite end in sight. That's what we were discussing. Okay. Observers see no sign of fundamental change in anti-pandemic policy through though some tweaks may be in the offing. Okay. So analysts are saying, and mind you, you see the when it was published, very recent. With this third term secured, Xi Jinping must okay. Next. Zero COVID policy under growing strain as cases continue to spread across the country. Right? Worst case is Guangzhou, and you have more than 2,000 cases.
I think
Okay,
today was the highest number of cases, right, sir?
maybe. I mean, I didn't see today's thing, but it could be.
Some
It's over
9,000 cases.
nine. No, it's crossed 10,000. Okay, Look, the second thing is important. The caseload is small by international standards, but doubts are going whether the current approach can stop Omicron variants from spreading. That's the point. Okay, chalo, next. China will hold fast to zero COVID as central health official cite winter surge fears. Now, everyone says this strategy is completely correct. Okay, there is public anger over the human cost of excessive COVID, right? And curbs on the, especially after I believe a 3-year-old child died there without
Hmm.
medical care. All these things will continue. This is of 5th November. This article. It's not far. 1 week back. People are dying. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What's it like to live under the super strict policy, the good and the bad? This is coming out. What's good about it? What's bad about it? They're trying to sell it to the public. Just came out 2 days back. It is 12th November. Daily PCR tests, sudden lockdowns, right, and lockouts, quarantine hotel stays, and policies that can travel, uh, through time mark people's daily lives in zero COVID China. This is all, but it's not all bad. Yeah, what does it improve? This is very funny. Not only does it improve your knowledge of local geography, it hones your logistical and analytical skills to razor sharpness. So this is the positive of zero COVID.
But you're
You
sending your
get
drone to get some food from somewhere and bring it
oh
back.
god,
That's the
no. I couldn't understand. If you go into this article, I couldn't understand what is the positive out of it. It's very all negative. Okay, but propaganda is propaganda.
yeah,
The
of
Chinese are
course.
good at it. Yeah.
Really, sir?
Okay, this is the thing. Chinese migrant workers forced home. Factory owners struggling to survive under coronavirus lockdowns. This is again of Guangzhou, the thing. So there are people are suffering at the fundamental level. The economy is being hit. The factories are being slowed and all. Again, this is of 11th November. This they're not too old. 11th November. Okay, and this right. Corona again. Uh, China launches mass testing in 9 districts. Okay, you can see. Now there are outbreaks in Inner Mongolia and Xinjiang also. There are problems
Hmm.
in Tibet also. Okay, okay. Next, you can't lock down people. You can't lock down 1.4 billion. Cost of zero COVID forces another local government to charge for tests. Now this is a new thing. And in fact, today what I read here, I couldn't upload it. But what's happened is earlier the government was subsidizing all tests, mass tests. Look, if you have to get tested every second, third day, it costs.
Oh, huge.
Yeah, the whole yeah. Now, if every third day everyone in China has to get tested to move about, that's the fundamental thing. If you don't get tested, you can't. Your code will turn red. Okay. Okay. So till some time back, it was all free of cost. China is not able to afford it. They've pushed it on to local governments. The local governments, they are burdened with increased expenditure. They don't have money. Why don't they have money? It is related to real estate crash. When the real estate of theirs crashed, their property sales went down, and the main source of revenue for all local governments was the property. So they're not able to afford it. The latest article says, one which I couldn't upload, it says now they're shifting the charges to the people. Now people have to pay, and people every third day I have to pay. For example, in India, it depends where you go and take this COVID test. They charge you 500-600 to 1,000, I think. I mean, I'm not right. That's the minimum. So every day, everyone has to cough up every third day. If I have to cough up, say 500 minimum, okay, that means in a month I have to take 10 tests, 5,000 bucks. I have to spend 5,000 to 10,000 depending on where I take it and how I take it. Even if it is subsidized. सब्सिडी तो है नहीं क्योंकि ये तो इनका तो पैसा नहीं है सब्सिडी देने के लिए. तभी तो so it's going to cost people.
Yeah.
Then people will do all kinds of tricks to evade it. And if they evade this test and whatever, what will they do? That test will be a fake test. They'll run the fake test on computer and chalao it local level. Okay, without taking a test. पैसा है नहीं. Report चाहिए 50 रुपए दे दो report मिल जाएगा. Green. They'll start beating their own system.
Yeah.
And COVID cases will grow. Look, if I cannot
Unknown.
afford a test, I can afford a fake test, which is cheaper. So this is going to happen. I mean, I'm predicting it. Okay. Okay. Why China's local official will remain caught in zero COVID paradox. This is interesting again. Local governments face inherently contradictory task of balancing coronavirus controls and economic challenges without policy support. Beijing names and shames cities for excessive COVID-19 measures. ये बड़ा funny है situation इनका. You have declared a zero COVID policy. Okay, if COVID breaks out after that zero COVID policy, that city chap is hung, that government, local government. But at the same time, so you are named and shamed. But at the same time, if the COVID restrains your economy, you are screwed. And you have to pay. The local governments have to pay, which they don't have money. You see how local governments are caught. You see, it's very nice to think how this, you know, uh, about zero COVID, ye won't. But you see the mechanics, what's happening down below. The guy who's actually to execute it is now caught in between the two. करे तो करे, ना करे तो मरे. इकोनॉमी भी नहीं डाउन होना चाहिए, कोविड भी ब्रेकआउट नहीं होना चाहिए. He has to ease restrictions. पैसा भी नहीं, पैसा भी देना चाहिए. So the local governments are in a bind. This is interesting actually. Yeah, local government means state governments, provincial
State
governments.
government.
Yeah. So, but coronavirus, Chinese authorities race to contain new waves of dire and complicated outbreaks.
New variants are coming in.
New variants are spreading faster, forcing parts of the country to endure chaotic COVID curves. In the past 10 days, गुआंगझू के ऊपर रोज आ रहा है. अबे गुआंगझू
Yeah.
चला जाएगा, बीजिंग आ जाएगा, बीजिंग चला जाएगा, शंघाई आ जाएगा, शंघाई चला जाएगा, कुछ और आ जाएगा, सिचुआन आ जाएगा, कुछ तो हो रहा है भाई. At any given point of time, 1/3 of China is under lockdown today. Okay, so there are problems. Okay, next. Yeah, the
This we kind of
long-term toll. Yeah, the social and economic costs of the policy are highlighted by now Shanghai Disneyland is shut down. There's a
that
big
created an
exodus from
upsurge in China.
yeah.
That Disneyland thing was very, people are very pissed off about it.
Not only the Disneyland, even iPhone factory.
Yeah.
Critics wonder, this is important what we're discussing. Critics wonder whether the measures are meant to control people rather than stop the spread of virus. See, again, ये कब का है ये देखो 1 नवंबर का है. It's not very
First
far back.
November.
Okay, चलो next बोलो. Okay, yeah, there's a lady who died, so there's a problem. Okay, so same problem when people see children are dying, women are dying. These are all reported cases. We don't know how many unreported cases there are. Right?
The human cost.
Yeah, the human cost is going to keep going up. Okay. So next, Dikao. Yeah, same. The same thing it got right. Yeah.
This is about the toddler, sir.
Toddler.
Hmm.
Father says his son was dying from gas poisoning while he pleaded with authorities for help. 3-year-old death is the latest of heart-wrenching cases where urgent treatments were denied.
Latest
So,
string of heart-racing cases.
there are more. This is
Latest
of 3rd
string.
November. हाँ स्ट्रिंग
Latest
है.
string means so many are happening, sir.
Yeah. So that's why I said many are not coming to light to us.
Hmm.
Okay. Chalo. Yeah. Lockdown sparked desperate business measures in Chinese textile hub. Okay.
Go on,
आगे
go.
बोलो. This is Foxconn's largest iPhone factory keeps COVID-19 lockdown and as surrounding Zhengzhou district loosens some restrictions. ठीक ये सब हो रहा है ये तो चालू है ये भी लेटेस्ट है कल का है ये
Hmm.
factory activity shrinks in October as coronavirus curbs hit output and demand both output and demand are gone down. Okay. Yeah. Locks down massive area iPhone फैक्ट्री का बंद कर दिया अभी चल रहा है ये सागा इज गोइंग ऑन ये
On
अगर आप
it is.
देखोगे तो पिछले 15 दिन से ये चल रहा है ये आईकॉन ये फॉक्सकॉन फैक्ट्री एंड आईफोन कहानी ओके बिकॉज पीपल लेफ्ट द फैक्ट्री एंड वेंट ऑफ
Hmm.
ये दिस इज आल्सो फनी electric cars Neo Zipeng and Li Auto see sales drop as China's COVID-19 curbs hit production. Tesla cuts prices.
Yikes.
Hmm.
He just
So there
bought
is a
Twitter and
नहीं वो अलग बात है but the fundamental problem is there are no sales. पैसा नहीं है. Okay. वही लोग काम नहीं करेंगे काम नहीं कर सकते हैं कमा नहीं सकते हैं तो ये प्रॉब्लम तो होगा ही है कि नहीं अच्छा चलो नेक्स्ट okay this is this thing oh this is again thing of my uh, of gunner Devlali firing ranges I just thought I'll show you this photograph right yeah so this is the sum total of this thing we can discuss we can ask questions you can we'll let whichever way you want we'll lead it on.
yeah, of course, there are a couple of questions. And guys, before I start up, and then of course, leave the opportunity for the audience to take this discussion forward as well. Hit the like button, very critical. Subscribe, check your bell icons, and please do, if you can, do help out the Dev Talks effort by the ways that I've mentioned here. Rupesh, thank you so much for becoming a member at Dev Talks. Thank you and welcome. Sir, biggest question. Now, Xi Jinping's stated, goal for the Chinese society is common prosperity, which calls for money to be taken from the rich and given to the poor and equalizing the wealth in the Chinese society. The only way that the private sector would be able to, or that he would be able to achieve this with the private sector is when he cuts them completely. Is this a way to cut them fast? Because, as you said, the priority is national security rather than economy. So he's basically setting his society.
There's no doubt about it. I have no doubt. If you control the society, only then you can get common prosperity.
Hmm.
Okay. Uh, now, in my own way, that's what this is my sense I get. He is making a case model with that iPhone factory, that Foxconn factory, zero COVID, everything. He will tell everyone, now this is the model you have to follow
Hmm.
for zero COVID and make money. And if you try to finger the whole system, I'll put zero COVID on you and you'll go down. Okay, control. And if you want to make money, I'll ease zero COVID. So it becomes a tool of blackmail to ensure that chap makes money and he gives it back to common prosperity. बड़ा simple है यार. सोचो अगर तुम अपने घर से बाहर नहीं निकल सकते हो और निकलने के लिए आपको जीरो कोविड का ग्रीन मार्क चाहिए, आपसे कोई भी पैसा एंड सकता है।
Hmm?
But I mean, I'm talking in Hindi, in colloquial Hindi,
Keep
because that's
50
the
bucks
way.
and job done.
But job done. Only then
And
you
China
can
is
go out.
corrupt. There's no question. So
There's no doubt. So if you are a rich chap, instead of 50, you will have to pay $1,000. I mean, so common prosperity. This is a tool. This is a blackmail tool. This is a control tool for common prosperity. It is for everything, security, everything. If you think zero COVID will go, forget it. If you think restrictions on zero COVID will go, forget it. This is a tool for, look, let me put it a little differently. They said for incoming travelers, zero COVID restrictions are reduced.
hmm.
Okay, let's say you're an Indian businessman. You go there. Okay, you say, look, they tell you 5 दिन में you do quarantine and then go, or 3 days quarantine and you'll go, end of story. But once you go there, you're told, no, you have to take a test. If this test is not correct, ये वो करके they'll keep blackmailing you. Then they'll say, अच्छा ठीक है, थोड़ा इतना पैसा दे दो, फिर आप चले जाना. Blackmail. Zero COVID has become a blackmail tool. Forget control. Control though is a very nice governmental word. Actually, this man is blackmailing the whole country and the whole world.
Is he getting help
You
from somewhere, sir? Pakistanis or something like that?
Pakistan क्या help करेगा?
No, no, corruption practices थोड़ा
No.
system
They
ठीक
don't.
है ना उनका
No. That you look. Let's be very clear. You don't have
technology
to teach
transfer.
You don't have to teach a Chinese how to be corrupt. Okay. The
Indeed, yeah.
point is that this is a control system which can, and it's a control tool which can enable you to do anything. You want your business to survive in China and you're a foreigner, you pay up or zero COVID is imposed. Thank you. You will pay up. Okay? That's what's happening to Foxconn.
Yeah.
There are strict zero COVID controls. He's not allowed to produce. If if he's not allowed to produce, Apple will have a problem. And you're selective. Okay, let's look at it a little differently. You have a foreign firm, you have an Indian firm. Chinese firm. Both are in the competition for the same product, like say electronic vehicles. Okay? तो एक के ऊपर zero COVID लगा दो, दूसरे के ऊपर मत करो. So what is on the firm which is on zero COVID or strict controls will not produce, will not sell. The other fellow will sell. So that brand goes up. When that brand goes up, you'll release this fellow. He'll splutter. This is controlling the business environment also. कुछ दिन के बाद that fellow will be put on zero COVID and this chap will be progress. So both will pay. You have to think differently. Am I talking sense or not? Let me ask you this question.
I went into a thought when you were telling me this, and look at the what they've done with Foxconn, sir. Foxconn
Yeah.
is a Taiwanese investment.
Hey, look, yeah, you're talking. You now you come to you were talking. Now we're talking.
Okay.
The Taiwanese have been screwed. The Apple has been screwed. Some other Chinese firm will
अभी
be
वो
allowed to.
Huawei बेचेंगे वहां पर.
No. Some Chinese. See, at this point of time, some Chinese smartphones sales would have gone up.
वही Huawei का
Okay.
कुछ आ जाएगा जबरदस्त
So
वाला.
जो भी है, after 2 months, Huawei will be down and this fellow will be allowed to go once he
By
pays
the
up.
time this guy's phone is
No,
gone
no, no, no,
already.
no, 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 no. See, I don't think this thing. They cannot allow Foxconn to fail because if Foxconn fails, they'll get affected.
So
This is like drip irrigation, no? इसको भी छोड़ दो, उसको भी छोड़ दो, थोड़ी देर इसको छोड़ो, थोड़ी देर उसको छोड़ो, दोनों को छोड़ो, and take money from both. Common prosperity achieved free of cost. You have to understand this is similar to drip irrigation.
So he doesn't want the private players to completely vanish from there. He just wants to control
He,
them.
he control them. The moment you control them, you get money out of them. It's like a toll gate, yeah. Every toll
That is
gate you
what
go,
is
you
called
pay.
taxes and
Look,
new regulations.
see, the whole thing is zero COVID enables him to control every aspect of society. So it is not going to go. This, that's why it made a statement. The Chinese or anyone in China has to live with zero COVID. They're not living with COVID.
Now, I
Yeah.
the example we put with the private firms, let's talk about people, right? You've got these news coming out pretty much every day in Asia Nikki, in South China Morning Post, everywhere, that these, even today there was this thing that these rich Chinese want to run away. Now,
Yeah. Why will they be there?
yeah, he's
Yeah,
launching
look,
the digital yuan, sir.
देखो भाई, whether he launches digital yuan, whether he has whatever, you have to understand one fundamental thing which this man has said. He has said security over economy. You have said that he is launching digital yuan, he is doing X, Y, Z. He is also opening common food kitchens. Why is he opening
The
common food kitchens, communal
radio free.
kitchens? Back to Mao days. पैसा नहीं है कोई किसी को पास. There must be people who are going hungry. So what is happening today in China? Zero COVID gives you control, but zero COVID you also gives you is a blackmail tool. That's one. You have common prosperity. You have security over thing. You're talking of digital yuan, this yuan, that yuan, and you have food kitchens opening up. Oh well, there's another interesting thing which is developing. Maybe in a day or two, I'll be able to get a hang of it. All groups like Tencent and Jack Ma's
Baidu.
group and all, they are being acquired by state firms.
Yeah.
On
That is, yes, yes.
uh, so though all these private entrepreneurs are now being merged with state,
State
and this
enterprises. They have to have
state
certain
enterprise.
percentage within the,
Uh, uh,
yeah,
Now that is something which I think an article in Nikkei Asia has said there is something like taking back to Mao's days.
Maoism.
We'll see how things go. Things are not going to go in the linear manner the way we have thought about China. Uh, Mr. Kevin Rudd, who's the head of the
I was,
Asia Pacific, right?
yes.
He's written an article, a beautiful article in
Foreign policy, sir.
Foreign Policy about the Red China,
Marxism back in China. Yes, sir.
Marxism, and it's end of an era. There's a new China we are analyzing, and we have to analyze this new China in the new manner. If you go apply old metrics to this China, you're out of the game. You will never be able to understand it. Most of us in India are still thinking of China in the old fabric. That's actually
Businessman fabric we were looking at.
no, that's out. Today you have to start thinking of China in different metrics. The matrix is different, the metrics are different.
Yeah.
But we'll do that. This is like today is the only the first thing. Let me put together things and then maybe next time we'll discuss. Maybe
So
a
indeed,
couple
sir,
of weeks
that
later.
article by Mr. Rudd was absolutely,
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely on
mind-boggling.
the yeah. I
I
agree with
mean,
you.
mind-boggling article, and I mean, guys, you can just search for. Trust me, go to Google and type Marxism back in China, and his article is first.
By
You'll
Kevin Rudd
right
in
there.
Foreign
Kevin
Policy.
Rudd, he's
You
there for policy. It's a beautiful article, must read. It really, I mean, it blew my head when I actually read it off, and I just read it yesterday, so it was a very interesting read for me. So the my last question to you is about the end game. Now, end game is they are at a certain economical level right now, 18, whatever, $18 trillion and this and that. They've got certain this thing. Now, obviously, this will reduce to a large extent. It won't be there. What is the end game?
look, end game is fundamentally two, three things. End game is first Xi Jinping continues in power. To enable that, the Communist Party continues in power in China. Now, if these two are achieved, then the Communist Party and China be the center of the world, where they can throw off the American control. How to achieve that American control is A, B, C, D, E. In fact, again, Mr. Kevin Rudd has given 10 concentric circles around which the Chinese policy revolves. I'll put it out. I'll see if I can pull that out. Maybe in the next thing we'll
The
we'll, we'll,
article,
we'll
sir?
discuss. It's not in this article. Earlier in his book, he's given this out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The article I'm
Okay.
pinning down in the comments, so if anybody wants to
Yeah.
read it, it's there.
Yeah. So, are we ready to take on questions?
Yes, sir. So this is the article that I'm talking about. You can just,
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
if you anybody wants to read, you can click this and move forward. Uh, Guys, lots of comments and questions have come in. Please keep them firing. This is an interesting discussion because we are now looking at China in a whole new eye, as Janan Shankar mentioned about what's happening there. So we've been talking about how China dubega, ye hai, wo hai, and this and that. Today, and as per what we've discussed today, we realize China really doesn't care wo dubega ki nahi dubega. Bhai,
Yeah.
we need to know what to.
He's on a different track altogether.
Hmm,
And the idea is how do we respond to this track? How do we recognize
indeed.
this track? How do we respond to this track is the larger question.
First one, Xi Jinping, I think, wants to get out of polluting industries as well.
Oh well, that is something with Mandar. While I agree with you, I should do it. I don't know whether Xi Jinping wants to do
You think he's that noble,
it.
sir?
Yeah, I don't know. Uska kya policy hai? We don't know. Na? We don't know these things whether he'll do not do. Politically, he'll say I want to do, but more than that, I really can't comment. Yeah,
Off the topic, but can't wait for more
yeah,
firepower
fine.
episode.
No issue. We'll do that next time. Next Sunday we'll have this.
Midweek possible, sir? Let's see. Let's discuss it out
We'll
if
see.
possible.
We'll see how it. If we can do it, we'll do it. Why not?
Uh, this is rather concerning as China has called some of our medical students studying in China. Not sure how they're going to conduct things further.
Well, I'm not too bothered about or worried. I won't say bothered. I'm not too worried about how they treat students. Okay, they will because they will treat them okay because uh, misbehaving with students and youngsters will bring them a bad reputation. In fact, the students they would like to continue because they can be brainwashed and sent back to us. Okay, they will be given all tripe about common prosperity and sent back. So when those medical students come back, they will be medical graduates and common prosperity candidates. So I don't think that is a thing which I'm too bothered about. It's the other bigger issues which they are. See, this is the thing about communist China or any communist system. They're devious. Okay, so let's see how it pans out. As of now, I don't have answers for it.
When I don't know when this whole thing will be over, and I don't know if we'll all be there, but Hollywood should indeed make a movie about this. It'll be a box
Why?
office
That
house.
depends. Yeah. You see, look, Adi, what you're saying is right. The problem is this fellow's got a tremendous economic base made by Hu Jintao and everyone.
Deng and all these guys, yes, sir.
He's a guy he's a pig on a bloody cash stack. Yeah.
He's inherited a good base. Yes, absolutely, sir.
Oh, we all say we are on a pig's back. He's a pig on all our backs. It's the other way around. So this pig
Yeah,
can bloody do anything it wants.
that's indeed interesting.
Hmm.
I heard news that China has made virology labs in Pakistan, joined bioweapon or testing new drugs in Pakistani people.
They can do what they want. First, let Pakistan sort itself out,
They
and then
did
we'll
test
talk
the
about it.
vaccines in Pakistan, with, in
I know
all
what ठीक
honesty,
है.
sir.
देख ऐसा है, पाकिस्तान में कुछ भी कर लो, कुछ उसमें से पॉजिटिव नहीं आएगा. We know that. So I don't think Chinese are that fools anymore to invest in these things in Pakistan. So I'll reserve my comments on that, Anike. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know
Emperors
whether
will
this
come
emperor is
back.
going to face a lot of flack down the line because the Chinese people believe in him. We have to understand we're talking about a person who's got mass support in China for whatever he's done.
Is this now? This is a very interesting point that you brought out, sir. I'm going to take ask you to take a minute. Is this something to do with the Chinese civilization itself? The
Yes,
emperor.
the emperor cannot be wrong. The Chinese society is an obedient society. They all fall in line with the royal edicts, and even if it goes, they have to go through problems. And in this case, he sold the idea of common prosperity, reaching out to people, etc. X, Y, Z. He's given a dream. ख्वाब दिखा दिया ना, तो people are with him. He said, "I'll destroy people with wealth, corruption." All these things are resonate. They resonate with the Aam Aadmi or the Aam Chinese. Okay, so I don't think he will have the people's trouble. He'll not have. There'll be one section who'll have a problem, but he's very clearly said, "I'm not bothered about the economy." And the Xi Jinping rate of growth has been going down. He's not bothered about it. See, Deng Xiaoping, Jiang Zemin, and Hu Jintao have bankrolled Xi Jinping to do what he wants to do. Over the past 40 years, he's got time to do what he wants to do. And he's got the money to do what he wants to do.
That's the most important thing. Yes.
Yeah. So that's the danger, actually. Here is a guy who doesn't have to struggle to do what he wants to execute his plans.
I mean, he's blown up money. He still has more.
Yeah.
And now you're saying he's found another way of taking money from people.
Yeah.
रख नहीं तो रेड करता हूँ
So it's a
तेरा.
different ball game. Look, we have to understand we are playing a different ball game altogether.
You're dealing with a criminal-minded setup. I mean, it's
Well,
like a
I'll not call him
mafia.
criminal mind or anything, but
No,
he's a different mind.
mafia.
We are to,
You know,
okay, call him mafia, call him a don, call him a criminal, call him a communist, call him a leader, call him what you want. But the fact is that he's a different phenomenon. Actually,
communist.
again, Mr. Kevin Rudd describes him the best. He calls Xi Jinping the ideological man, the ideological man, which is very interesting, mind you. Okay, now this is I'm not talking against this thing, but this is the psyche of this individual, right? Who believes in a system, who believes in the Maoist system, who believes in the Marxist system, who's smart. You have to understand why he's smart, because the Maoist system was dominant till the time Mao was alive, and after
Hmm.
that, the same Communist Party of China criticized Mao's system for the
Wow.
wrongs it committed. Okay, so this man is using Maoist principles, and taking the name of Marxism and Leninism with Chinese characteristics, not taking Maoism. He's using Maoism with some other name and is implementing it. Because if you talk of implementing Maoism, he might come under criticism.
So it's Xi Jinping's thoughts on socialism with Chinese characteristics
Chinese
in a modern era.
in a modern era, and this is all based on Marx and Leninist principle. This is
Hmm.
this is the outer layer. The inner layer is Maoism. Okay, so the we are seeing a China which is actually gone devious. We have to understand that we're going to deal with someone quite different, and this is something which is coming now slowly, with when I read all this, it's coming to me also. I mean, one couldn't understand this in its entirety, and I don't know whether I'll be able to understand this in its entirety because he's taken 10 years to develop this idea.
We are just
We will take,
probably
yeah, we are
figuring it
just in
out.
the starting point to understand what this man is up to.
Very interesting. Our import from China is increased on a YOY basis. Is the zero COVID not applicable to factories, or are the people staying inside the factories to keep the economy running?
Look, our dependence on China will gone up. It has gone up. It will go even further. If you want to adopt the electronic vehicle route, you have to get lithium-ion batteries from China, and that means it's going to go up. So there are issues. Okay, and like I said, the zero COVID is a very flexible policy to make money. So he will apply it on the entire private industry in China to make money out of it. That is how common prosperity. We spoke, no, common prosperity. If it has to be funded, common prosperity, how will he fund it? This is no more against COVID. This is against control. This is again to make sure that it's a tool to fund China. It's a tool to control China. It's a tool to ensure that everyone is their economy is regulated the way he wants. It's a tool to take money from investors into China. It's a trap
This is
anyway.
complete. It's a
Yeah,
complete control. It's what
yeah. You have to
probably.
understand this is a huge tool of control. Control of finances, control of people, control of movement, control of everything.
This is what probably in the 30s and the 40s the German leadership would have dreamt of.
Done, dreamt of. Yeah, I agree with you.
I think the motives for Xi Jinping acting against the business needs to be investigated.
Yeah, look, that's their choice whether to be investigated or not. But we are clear as to what they are doing.
May I, Mandar Saab, the FBI is sitting right here.
FBI.
Just
Yes.
kidding.
Mm.
She wants to stop using uprising of people by putting lockdowns in the name of
Yeah,
COVID.
that's part of the story. Control. Yeah, I agree.
I think people are getting what we just said, so that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's good news.
Mm.
Xi may be trying to be Mao 2.0, but I would doubt people of China, like the Chinese people from Mao's era, uh, like
The evidence of the
possibility of a
Chinese
revolt.
people that the evidence that Chinese people have changed is not there. They're just behaving the way they behaved till earlier also.
But I
And
think what you
to
said,
see, there are two, three things you have to understand how people are being controlled. People are not being controlled just by zero COVID. There is also a huge, censorship on. There's propaganda on. Their minds are being controlled. They're not being allowed to communicate. They cannot communicate. They're not exposed to. They're firewalled from outside thinking. They are being told that democracy is bad, and it's only there the communist system works for them. All this is part. There's a bigger game plan than just zero COVID. So let's not
but
think that people will revolt. If Chinese people were to revolt, they would have revolted long back. They're nowhere near revolt.
I'd like to take his point and just for the devil's advocate, this thing, the bridge man, sir, for example. Some interesting things happened during that time. If you
देख
just
ऐसा
see,
एक
what,
आध एक देखो
which
let's
one?
not live in not live in La La Land.
Yeah.
One bridge man and two bridge people won't make a difference to Xi Jinping.
No, no, it just tells you that Chinese people do understand what the game is.
Look, many of them no, they will understand only if they're told. How many would have seen it?
Yeah, well, 100,
One bridge man won't bring the thing down. Yeah.
true, true, true. Absolutely. I'm more than sure that they've spent at least more than $50 billion on testing kits. Imagine the
Maybe.
vaccines and
I
all
mean,
of the
I,
cost.
I mean, look, vaccine kya cost hai? They're useless vaccines. No one takes them there. The whole world has stopped accepting Chinese vaccines. We know that. No one wants it. So they have spent money, and that is why their economy is in a tight position. See, there are certain fundamentals which will not get away from them. Okay, their economy will go down. Their expenditure on these things will go up. Now they've shifted because that is why, since they don't have money, they shifted it to local governments. Local governments have shifted it further to the individuals. Slowly, the cost of zero COVID is going to come on the individual. It is the individual who's going to pay for the controls which is going to undergo. देखिए ये बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में, गले में पड़ गया ये. That is where we are. That is not where we are. That is where the Chinese are.
Will the prolonged zero COVID policy not build anti CCP sentiment amongst Chinese people? Will they ever realize and respond?
Rupesh, you're talking about China, which is totally brainwashed. With the Chinese people or with the leader. You're not talking of a system like India where you can any Tom, Dick, and Harry can curse our prime minister, president, and everyone. You're not in a system where you can vote any party you want. Tomorrow you can go to Gujarat election and pay vote for Congress, BJP, or what AAP or some whatever you want. The choice is yours. Chinese people don't have this choice. Or for that matter, in USA, you can vote for Democrats or Republicans. Or like Britain, where every third day you can change your prime minister. Yeah. Oh, I mean, the way Britain is changing their prime minister, so they'll not have enough prime ministers left, or there'll be a nation full of prime ministers only. Okay, this is not any of these countries.
Yeah, this is China.
They're talking about different country. We're talking about different system. Yeah.
This is China.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, with such zero COVID policies, Chinese will also stop producing kids with so much uncertainty. That means more or less population. That means 2 to 3 years of population cycle will be hit hard.
I agree with him completely. This is the fundamental problem of China. Already, their population was to peak out in 2031. That is what I was kept reading till 2 years back or 1 year back.
It's already done.
Uh, Suddenly, this year they said, "Hey, bhai, our population has peaked, and their birth rates are going down." So this bomb is bursting. On that, I have no doubt. I am of the firm opinion that China's decline has started. They also know this. They will probably know it better. And all this is to ensure that they come to a stage where they can beat that problem. That's what they think. At least they're trying. So we'll see where it goes. I don't think they'll succeed. You can't succeed nature. So they're fighting against nature. But then that they're communists. If a communist can control virus, he will try to say, I'll control my birth rate also.
Yeah, they're calling up newlyweds and asking
Yeah,
them
yeah. You can
to
you
plan
can
for the
stop
baby.
people from producing, but how can you produce? How can you force people to produce babies? Even if babies are produced, it takes 20 years for them to grow up. So there are fundamental problems with China today.
Yes.
I mean, look, it's a very deep question. What he said is right. In a matter of 2 to 3 years, the real China will start showing up.
Mm. The
You're going
reality
to
of
have a
China.
reality of China, and there's going to be a fast changing China. And the problem for the whole world is this change. How do we handle this change? How does China handle this change? How do we handle this change?
My worry is very simple, sir. This guy is letting this virus keep on spreading. These Chinese people will keep traveling, it'll keep mutating, and this damn thing will never
Look,
end.
no, I'm not too bothered about that part of the story because we know how to live with COVID. We are not that this thing. We have inoculated, we have good vaccines, we are okay. This country, which is the second largest economy, which is developing the largest military, investing ceaselessly into its military, threatening people, is changing. And it's changing very rapidly.
Timelines.
Yeah, no. So that change always destabilizes. See, when are you most vulnerable? When you drive a cycle, or when you get onto the cycle and take off. Till the time you get your pedaling right, then once you're stable. Again, when are you most unstable in a cycle? When you stop the cycle, you could fall off. That's why you put your leg down and all that. But if you're going very fast, even that leg won't help, or the brakes won't help, hand brakes won't help. Please understand, change, any system in change, um, it goes back to Newton's law of inertia. Will remain in a state of inertia. If that inertia is disturbed or inertia is changing, it becomes unstable.
Mm.
Right? Yeah. Next. Last question.
Yeah, just a couple more, sir. I think these are just
Yeah.
statements. After Elon
Mm.
purchase of Twitter, does China now has influence on Twitter? China might also apply zero COVID on Tesla factories in exchange of Twitter
Oh,
data.
that's between Elon Musk and China. Let's see
That
how it
already
comes out.
happened, by the way. He gave that comment of Taiwan, and he got a tax break in one of his car companies.
Okay, that's part of this thing.
Sir, pre-COVID, Xi Jinping made food emergency, and during pre-2019 December, people were stocking rations, and restaurants were threatening to eat less. Sir, was China planning something big?
Oh, that's their problem. Their problem is always food security, so they'll always think of it. Yeah, it's an
I
endemic
think this,
problem in China, food security. Yeah,
this is a very interesting comment. Marxism
nice
never
one.
to break
Left.
to earn money.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, let's go here. China has been aiding Pakistan based terrorists with weapons, funding, as well as blocking resolutions. What should happen in appropriate response apart from the wheeled barbs from Mr. Jaishankar? Do you think
Well,
we
that's a
should respond?
policy decision. We'll not talk of it now because we'll talk of it on a different episode.
And a compliment for us. Thank you so much. Most expert duo of
Thank you.
Dev Talks.
Okay, thanks.
And the last comment for the evening. Sir, would like to know your views on the new phenomenon, Z effect on India and its policies towards China. That's
I
something
think
that
that's
we
a
could,
we will talk about it in a detailed subject, how
yeah,
we
discuss.
handle China in this thing. And because there are various shades of this, how you handle it diplomatically, how do you handle it politically, how do you handle it militarily, how do you
Militarily.
handle it trade. And that also depends on what you expect China to do and what you're going to do yourself, because everything is moving. Remember, as China is changing, so is India, right?
And this is a drastic
So
change that we are trying to figure out in
yeah,
China.
we are going to figure out. But as you're figuring out the change in China, so is India changing,
Yeah, that's true,
right?
sir.
As you're growing at a pace which you have never grown in the recent past. So you're also changing. So you're also going through that law of inertia in a different direction. So we'll leave it at that at this point. We'll take it on later.
Sir, thanks so much. I think a good baseline episode is something that I guess all of us have been pondering about. What is this whole zero COVID all about? Why would he make his entire population or a much large portion of his population keep suffering? Well, it turns out there is obviously a larger game at play. Nothing in China is what it seems, and that's something that we've alluded and very clearly elucidated to. And that is something that we could actually take forward in a in as and when the news comes out about
Yeah,
China
sure.
and what really happens. Before that, sir, before signing off, guys, I'd really like to request you, please, before switching off this episode, like this video. It really helps me increasing the audience. I've seen a lot of help from a lot of you guys by increasing number of likes. Please do that. Leave your comments, leave your thoughts. This is a larger discussion. It's a very complicated sort of a thing where we've tried to join the dots. So leave your thoughts. I'm sure there will be some interesting thoughts that a lot of people will come up with. uh, and of course, yes, if you can do help out the Dev Talks efforts by becoming a member, sending some super chats or super stickers, or you can just directly contribute on the UPI mentioned below. Visit Sir's website, gunnershot.com, and of course mine, thedevtalks.com. Sir, thank you so much. Till next time, Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Thank you.